Hey everyone, Shelly here. Today I'm going to share with you a myofascial release flow. We'll mainly be focusing on the upper body, but we will hit a couple points in the lower body. The tool we'll be using today is the RAD Centre. This is my favorite new toy to use, especially if you're new to myofascial release or you do have some particularly very tight areas that don't tolerate a smaller, firmer ball. This is a great place for you to start. This ball is a little softer, a little squishier. You can manipulate how full it is. You can kind of see the play I have in this one. It's filled about halfway, I would say. If you do not have this particular tool, you can still do this flow. You can use a block. You won't get as much of the compressive benefit as you do from the ball, but still some benefit in stretching. And if you have a RAD recovery round or one of the RAD rounds, the bigger ones, you can use one of those with a towel or a blanket over, and I'll cue you in the appropriate spots for those particular tools. So go ahead and grab what you have, and when you're ready to start, we will meet on our backs. So as you start to make your way onto your back, just find that Shavasana position, extending the heels to the corners of the mat, arms rest alongside you. Roll the palms open and soften and close the eyes. And just start that body scan from the bottoms of the feet, traveling up the body. Notice the points of contact with the mat, so the parts of the legs in contact, the feel of the pelvis into the mat. Notice any areas of tension in the low back, kind of any unevenness in the shoulders, areas of tension in the neck. And then bring all your attention to rest on the movement of your breath. And starting to notice the expansion of the ribs up and out as you inhale. And that sinking down, contracting with the exhale. Helping that breath to grow longer and deeper. Possibly extend your inhale to a count of 4. Exhale, count of 8. And if available, breathing in and out through the nose, really taking control of your breath. Take yourself through a couple more rounds. Next breath in, slide those feet together, extend the arms overhead, full body stretch. And hug your knees in, give yourself a squeeze, round your forehead towards your knees. Good, set those feet down, grab your RAD Centre or your block. If you're using your block, you're just gonna rest it down where it will land between the shoulder blades and then lay back down on the block. If you're using the center, helps to come into this fetal posture, kind of take that ball between the shoulder blades and you can just roll right over it. And it might take a couple wiggles. We're working to get it right between the shoulder blades on those rhomboid muscles. So it takes a couple wiggles, and once you get there, bring the arms to goalpost if available and check in there. Now if the head in this position is just too much for the neck, feels uncomfortable, you can use a pillow or a block to elevate the head a bit. And your choice with those legs, knees can be bent or straight. Just see what feels best in the low back. And then once you got that place where you feel sensation, you feel that compression between the shoulder blades, but not so much sensation that it overwhelms the breath. That's your sweet spot. And once you've got that place, again, coming back to your breath, see if you can close the eyes. As you inhale, imagine pressing the upper back into the ball. And as you exhale, imagine relaxing the upper back around the ball. So those inhales, you breathe space into the body. And on the exhales, you just grow heavy. Taking a few more rounds just like this. You might even return to that count of the breath, inhaling to that count of 4, and exhaling count of 8. Creating a little movement here now. So take a breath in. We're going to windshield wiper the arms. On the exhale, you're just going to bring your palms, rotate them around so that the palms come to plant on the mat. So those arms stay in goalpost. Inhale, fingertips come up and back. Good. Exhale, rotate around, palms coming towards the ground. Inhale, palms back up. And take a couple rounds on your own. See if you can create that link of breath and movement. Really taking your time here. Come back to that neutral goalpost position and just drop those knees over to the right. Come into this fetal posture. Set that block aside and just come all the way onto your back, that Shavasana position, and just notice any change that's maybe happened now. You might feel the shoulders a little closer to the mat. That upper back might feel less rounded. Just that little bit of time with compression into the fascia, loosening those spaces. And let's see if we can kind of capitalize on that, create a little more space there. So come into that fetal posture, press yourself up, making your way to a table pose, hands and knees. And encouraging circulation back to those areas, a little bit of movement first. On the breath in, raise your right fingertips to the sky, twisting and opening. Press down through that left palm. And exhale, you're going to thread the arm under and reach, so not coming down yet. Inhale, lift and open, twisting. Exhale, thread and reach. One more, inhale, lift and lengthen. And then exhale, thread it. Come on to the outside of the shoulder. Your choice with that left hand. Might feel good to walk it to the front of the mat, kind of encouraging that stretch between the shoulder blades. Might feel good to you to take it into the right back pocket. So again, finding a place of sensation,
of stretch, but not so much to overwhelm the breath. Couple more here. Walk that left hand under the shoulder, press up, lift the right fingertips open. Good, and plant that hand, we'll change sides. So root down through the right palm, lift the left fingertips up and open. Just feel that twist and that bit of dynamic movement, thread and reach. Inhale, open and twist. Good, exhale, thread. Inhale. Good. Exhale, thread it through. Come onto the outer left shoulder. Your choice with that right hand. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good. A few more just like that. Walk your right hand back under your shoulder. Inhale, lift and open. And plant that hand. And working into the front of the shoulder now. Grab your center. If you're using a recovery round or a RAD round, grab that towel or blanket to place over it. The spot we're going for on this one is just below the clavicle. I'm going to start on my left side here. So just below the collarbone. And if you find your breastbone, you're going to go to the outside of that breastbone. So kind of that spot right here in the middle. And you'll just place your ball there and come down onto your belly. Good. So again, might take a couple wiggles to get that good spot, but placing it in a place where you feel compression. And once you've got it, if available, bring those arms to goal post. Again, you can use a pillow or a block to rest your head on if that's better for your neck. And then just kind of melting yourself around the ball. Start to reconnect with that deeper breath. You might even return to that count of 4 to 8. And especially in this one, we can feel a little lopsided. So notice where you might be creating tension elsewhere. Scanning the shoulders, just allowing yourself to release. Notice if you're clenching into the glutes or the thighs, so you can let them release. And just breath by breath, get heavier. Almost like that feeling of standing at the edge of the water and the wave comes in, refreshing and cooling. And as the wave washes out, you sink a little deeper into the sand. And take a few more breaths. Good, and adding a little bit of movement now. Inhale, straighten the left arm forward, and exhale, bend back into the elbow, press down through the elbow. Inhale, stretch it out, lengthen. Exhale, bend, press back through the elbow. Good, few more. Good. Rest that left arm down on the mat. You're going to press yourself up. Remove the center or the prop that you're using. Take your arms out to a T and just notice how you feel side to side. And again, we're going to stretch a little more into this area, kind of use this opportunity to create more space. Bring your right hand under your right shoulder, roll yourself onto your left side. And your choice with the leg, it can stay straight, you can take it behind the other leg. The right hand can stay supporting you in front or come around the back. And if you need that extra pillow for the head, using the block or a pillow. So lots of places to go in this one, and just finding that comfortable place in discomfort. Good, and roll back over onto the belly. And let's change sides. So finding that same spot now on the right side and bringing the ball to that spot, resting down onto the belly. Arms into that goal post if available. Good. And systematically working away the tension. So releasing the palms of the hands, releasing the shoulders. Resting the thighs, tops of the feet. Coming back to that sensation of the movement of your breath. And as that effect starts to kind of take hold, you might kind of notice a tensing and a letting go in the shoulders or even the hips or the waist, and just kind of noticing those things happening in the body as you release into this pose here. And now that little bit of movement, inhale, stretch your right arm forward. And then exhale, bend the elbow, press down through the elbow. Good. Inhale, stretch it forward. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Let's take one more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And then just rest that arm down. Bring yourself up. Remove the center. And arms come into a T. Just take a moment to notice. Might feel a little more even now. And then left hand under the shoulder. Roll yourself over onto the right. Find your place. So kind of that restful place in discomfort. And just breathe into it. Notice if you're gripping the ground with that right hand. See if you can release a little more. that left hand out in front. Roll yourself back over. Beautiful. And just for a moment here, prop yourself up into Sphinx pose. The next place we go is the lower body. We're going to get into the front of the hip. Many of us have really tight hip flexors. We're often in seated positions for long times throughout the day, whether at a desk, in a car, in a plane. And so working into those spaces. Now, we're going to place the ball kind of in the crease of the hip here towards the outside. So kind of right in that sweet spot there. And then you're just going to come right down onto the mat here. So again, it might take a couple wiggles, danger signs or shooting pain, burning, radiating, anything like that. You'll want to adjust and move that ball. And once you get there, arms go where they feel the most comfortable. That might be goalpost. That might be alongside you. And it might feel a little awkward, this first one, a little lopsided. But see if you can really work the breath to help that left hip release down into the ball. So again, on the inhale, you might feel that hip press gently into the ball. And on the exhale, just softening around it, melting around it. They're not already, just closing the eyes, and with that mind's eye, imagining the muscles unknitting, unraveling. We're here for about 3 more. Good, and that little bit of movement now, so working into that muscle a little, the fascia a little deeper now. Tuck your left toes and lift your kneecap, your thigh off the mat. And just start to fan that heel back and forth. Good, and that might feel good. You might stay there doing that. You might bring the knee back down and then bend the knee and straighten. Just kind of playing with that space there. Good, and then come back down. Lift up off the ball, set it aside. Arms into a T, and just come onto the mat, onto your belly, and notice what you feel. This one usually pretty significant. You might feel that left hip a lot closer to the mat than the right hip. That left leg might feel a little longer than the right leg. So just kind of noticing that, just that little bit of time there, and let's even it out now. So prop yourself up, find that spot on the right leg again, fingertips to the crease of the hip. You're gonna work more towards the outside of the hip. Not so much that the ball rolls away, but kind of towards the outside of the hip there. Mindful of any of those danger signs, no shooting or sharp pains going on. And once you get that spot, again, find that comfortable position with the arms. Always feels a little weird at first, a little lopsided. But then helping that release to happen. Breathing some oxygen into that space. Coming back to your breath. And calming the nervous system. taking up that longer, deeper breath. Inhale, count of 4. Exhale, count of 8. Good. And then just working into the fascia a little more there, into that space. Tuck the toes. Lift the kneecap, lift the thigh. Kind of check in there, press back through the heel, engage the front of the thigh. And then just start to fan that heel back and forth. Good. Couple more. You might want to try that bending the knee and straightening if that felt good to you. You might want to try it on this side as well. Good. And then just coming back to that neutral place. Take the ball away, set it aside, arms out to a T. And just notice, maybe a little more even now. Good. And bring those hands under the shoulders. Press yourself up and back, table pose. And just for a breath, let's take a down dog. Tuck your toes, hips to the sky. Kind of stretch it out here. Maybe pedal one knee, then the other. Good. Tuck the chin. And then step the right foot outside the hands. Drop the back knee. Finding this lizard stretch. And it might be helpful in this one to turn the right toes to the corner of the mat, that 45-degree angle. Notice how you feel there. Root down through the hands, pressing the earth away. The chest is nice and tall. Working to get the entire sole of the right foot on the mat there. Good, and if available, you can always stay right here, keeping the left foot flat on the mat. See if you can lift up off the knee. Again, making sure to press down firm through both hands. Really working into the hip flexors here. Taking advantage of that space created. Good, drop the back knee. And then just sink the hips back, half-seated splits, a little stretch into the hamstrings. And you might flex and point your toes. Good, come on forward and step back to that downward facing dog. Good, and let's switch sides. Step the left foot outside the hands, drop that back knee. Might scooch it back a little. And maybe that 45-degree angle with the left foot. Working to get the sole of the foot on the mat. If available, press down through the hands. Working into the space you've created. Good, and then if you want that little bit of extra, flat of the foot on the mat, lift the right kneecap, right thigh, chest nice and tall. Try not to drop the head, but keeping that gaze forward. A couple more. Good. Drop the back knee, sink the hips back, stretching into the hamstring. And if it felt good, maybe fan that foot up and down, pointing and flexing the toes. Good, and go ahead and Come back through neutral. This time you're just going to come to a table pose. Take yourself all the way through seated. Grab your center or a block. Come down onto your back and coming into a supported bridge pose now. So taking the center, placing it right underneath the sacrum. If you have a block, doing the same. You might take it the shortest way or the second tallest way if you're using the block. And once you get that sweet spot, knees can stay bent or go straight, just noticing how your low back is feeling. Any strain in the low back, you might bend the knees. If available, roll the palms open. And breathing here and really using gravity to your advantage. So kind of working your exhale into that feel of gravity, that heavy sinking sensation around the ball. And on the inhale, kind of expanding. And just breathing here. And then just let the breath be easy in this one. Again, scanning for those areas of tension. Allow the shoulders to soften. And the palms to open. A few more breaths. Good. Bending your knees. Just lift your hips, remove the center, and finding that place where we started, Shavasana. And just notice how you feel. Just as we did in the beginning, starting that scan from the bottoms of the feet. And as you travel up to the crown of the head, just noticing the differences. You might feel more of the legs in contact with the mat now. The body might feel wider, more open. Shoulders maybe less rounded. Good. And a little time to just rest in the space that you've created. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, press it out. Shavasana, little time to rest. Good. And just bringing a little gentle movement now. Wiggle the hands and the feet. And slide the legs together. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Full body stretch. And hug the knees in. Give yourself a squeeze. Good. Falling over to that left side, that fetal posture. And just take a moment. Notice how you feel. Pressing yourself up. Comfortable seat. One last big deep breath together. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, palms to heart center. Thanks so much to each of you for practicing with me. Namaste.
Thanks, everyone. Hope you feel great. Drink lots of water and see you next time.